fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat. Or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today, I'm going to be working on my Bubblegum Girl from Bella Safina. This is my upstairs kit. So let me zoom in to where I'm going to be working and I will be right back. All right, I've got my timer started. I've got my drills here ready to go. Let me again apologize in advance. This is probably going to be a rambly diamond painting whip and chat. I don't know. I made some notes, but my brain is kind of all over the place. It's been, I don't know, a weird week, I guess. I think I'm still not quite back in the groove of everything, even after we got back from our trip. Or maybe it's because we went on our trip that I'm just like feeling a bit off. I don't know. So for those of you who were here last week, I told you that we were going on a little road trip, and we did. Hubby and I took a trip to Prince Edward Island here in Canada. We drove to the Confederation Bridge. I'd heard a lot about it. I wanted to see it. We kind of just wanted to get away for the weekend, and it wasn't a hugely long trip. So we decided to drive. We didn't realize until we got there that it is a toll bridge. We knew that. We knew it was a toll bridge, but we didn't know that it was a $50 toll, which was kind of crazy. We thought we saw the sign wrong. And I'm like, did they misplace a decimal point? And we didn't have to pay to go into PEI on the bridge. You could just pass through the gate. I don't know if that's just because it's not tourist season, or for whatever reason they didn't have it collecting both ways. I don't know. We only had to pay when we left. So it wasn't $100 toll, but we didn't know that going in. And my husband was like, do we still want to do this? Because we're going to pay as much to drive across this bridge, assuming we had to pay to go both ways, as we're going to pay to stay in a hotel, which just seemed kind of crazy. But it was fun. We had fun. We had a good time just kind of driving around and seeing everything. We went driving around downtown where there are some really historic buildings. Unfortunately, I guess PEI is where the Articles of Confederation, something about Confederation happened, hence the term Confederation Bridge. It's where Canada's, it's not a constitution, it's a charter or something, I think. I don't know. I really should study up on Canadian history now that I live here. Anyway, so we went downtown. The Parliament building is under construction, or reconstruction, I guess. It's undergoing renovations. So there was all this scaffolding and everything around it. We saw a couple of historic churches, because there's seemed like a million churches all in a couple of blocks. And we saw some King George Hotel. We were in Charlottetown. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, so we were in Charlottetown. We went to this amazing little Mexican restaurant. We walk in and there's it's literally just a room. It looks like it used to be an old house or something. It's like the living room has been turned into the dining room with 8 tables, and that was it. And it was just my husband and I, but the only 2-seater table in the place had a reserve sign on it. And she's like, do you have a reservation? And we were like, no. It never occurred to my husband and I that we'd need to make a reservation. So she's like, oh no, you can sit here. You don't have to have one. So we sat there and had the most amazing Mexican food that I've had since I got here. So that was cool. And also it was a little breath of fresh air for me, I guess, because PEI is not a bilingual province. So all of the signs were basically just in English. I don't think I heard any French while we were there. Checking into the hotel, the people in the hotel, the people in the restaurant. There were some people in the restaurant speaking Chinese, but no French. And not that there's anything wrong with things being in French, just it was a nice change to be able to actually read everything and understand what it meant. So we had some amazing Mexican food. And then the next morning we were going to go to some fish and chips place. It was supposed to be like a British fish and chips place, and we thought that sounded great. My husband is a big fan of fish and chips. I'm not a huge seafood fan, but I figured I could find something, and it was supposed to be for breakfast. And then we got to looking at the prices, and It's fresh caught seafood, and the prices reflected that. So we opted to eat somewhere else. Also, it turned out they weren't open anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. We couldn't have gone there even if we'd wanted to. But we drove around. I got to see the Atlantic Ocean, I think. It's the Strait of Northumberland there, I think is what my husband told me it's called. And you guys, feel free to correct me if you live in Canada, if any of the stuff that I'm saying is wrong. Like I said, I'm make no claims to be an expert on Canada, its geography, or its history. All I really knew about PEI when we went was that it was an island named after a Prince Edward and Confederation Bridge. That's pretty much it. That's really all I knew. Oh, and they grow a lot of potatoes. So that was a bit weird too. It was in some ways almost like being back home because so much of what wasn't in Charlottetown, because we went driving around a little bit out in the countryside, is all farms. Some potato farms, but there were wheat farms and corn farms because I could tell from the stubble that was left what they'd been growing. A lot more hilly than back home, obviously. Kansas is very, very flat. But yeah, just a lot of farmland. Saw some cows, which I think I've only seen once since we got here to Canada. These were more like the cows I would have seen back home versus the ones I saw before were like those big, like, what are they called? Brahma cows or something. Anyway, I'm getting so off track here. We went to this amazing Mexican restaurant. We didn't go to the fish and chips place. We drove around for a little bit more the next morning, and then we were just like, we need to get home. My husband had some things he needed to go do, and so we didn't stay to do as many things as we had anticipated, but it was still a nice drive. It was a nice drive there. It was a interesting drive across the bridge, and we did have to pay the $50 toll to leave, so $50 Canadian, which is probably like what, 40 some dollars American. Anyway, oh, and we, if I can find my picture of it, we passed, I think it was a park or something, and it had, I think it had like a little gazebo, so I don't know if they have like festivals there or something, but there was this big giant lobster sculpture, statue, I don't know, and it was huge because it had like a little guy, a little fisherman guy standing in front in between the lobster's claws. I don't know if that was meant to show scale. I think it was because this thing was huge. Where is, oh, right there. See, I'm looking for like a pinky one, and this looks like blue, and it's actually purple, so weird all around. Anyway, so we had a good time. I told my husband I want to make a trip to go somewhere else. I think our next trip is going to be to somewhere in Nova Scotia. I really would like to go to Oak Island, but I'm pretty sure they're not open for tours anymore. Ever since they hit it big with the Discovery Channel series, I don't think they've been offering tours since then. Although if they were, maybe I should check, because if they were, this would be a good time to do it as we're heading into spring, right? I don't know. I think if we do go to Nova Scotia, which is the plan, we'll probably go to Halifax first and do some things in Halifax. I want to go to one of their like Irish festivals and see some of that stuff. I think it's Nova Scotia. I remember seeing where they did those. Keeley, not at all how it's spelled, but that's supposedly how it's pronounced. I'm not up on my Gaelic. Again, feel free to correct me about any of this, but I'm a big fan of Irish things. My husband's family is originally from Ireland. His grandmother was born in Ireland, and then she immigrated to Canada with her family. Anyway, yeah, I'm a big fan of all things Irish, so would love to go see some Irish dancing and festivals, the caber toss, and all that kind of fun stuff. And at some point, we're going to go to Newfoundland too, because who doesn't want to listen to people talk with a Scottish brogue, right? I have a couple of YouTube channels I watch just because they live in Scotland and have Scottish accents, and that's amazing to me. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done with this section. I know I've got a couple that you can see right there. I'm not going to bother with those. Let me move everything, and then I will continue. All right, I think that's good enough for now. Trying to get this filmed while hubby is out doing lunch with his dad, because then we need to go grocery shopping. You guys are seeing this on Easter Sunday, so if you guys celebrate Easter, happy Easter. If you don't, then have a good weekend. Yesterday, well, Good Friday, all the grocery stores here were closed, and I am terrible about remembering things like that. Even in the States, I always forgot, and I'm like, oh no, we need to go get groceries. And we didn't go do it Thursday, so couldn't do it Friday, and can't do it on Sunday because everybody will be closed Sunday today as well. So Saturday shopping it is, which is never my favorite thing. I usually prefer to go on Fridays just because it feels like less people are out. I don't know if that's actually true, but it just feels like it where we grocery shop. I was actually thinking about whether or not hubby and I should invest in a Costco membership because not that we have one here where we live, but we could drive to one. And I was actually watching a video of this lady who lives in Alaska. She had been gone on a vacation back to the lower 48. So she was coming back, and I guess she'd been gone a week or so. And her family was like, there's nothing in the house to eat. So she stopped by Costco before she headed home to pick everything up. And looking at some of the stuff, it was like, man, I wish I had the option now that we're in our own house and I have a place to have a pantry and put some items that I could store where I can stock up so I have a place to put things if I'm not going to use them immediately. Just on staples, canned goods, that kind of thing. I have plenty of room in the kitchen for stuff like that, and I also have lots of room in the basement. Hubby and I are still talking about getting a chest freezer. I think we're going to upgrade our refrigerator, which we weren't planning on doing, but our current refrigerator is kind of old. It's the one that came with the house, but it is one with the freezer on the top, which I do not like. I don't use the freezer a whole lot. I mean, my son and my husband use it to store all of their, hey, I'm going to throw this in the air fryer real quick stuff, but I don't use it a lot. Not that that matters. The point of it being on the top is that that means you have to squat all the way to the bottom of the refrigerator to get out lots of things. And the way the shelves are, it's a split shelf system, so everything is kind of different levels, and it's just not the way my husband and I want it. But it's a little tricky to get a new one because the space where it can fit is not very big. So like the big refrigerator that we used to have back in the States with the deli drawer, the freezer on the bottom, and then the double French doors, way too big for where we currently have room to put our refrigerator. And we can't make the space any bigger because there is a chimney behind it. The people that renovated the house, the chimney from the old oil furnace went straight up through basically the middle of the house because it was their central heating, which makes sense. But now there's like a little walk around area where the chimney has been concealed because they didn't want to take it out. And that's a huge renovation I have zero interest in doing as well. So we just have to find something that fits. Hubby thinks he's found something that we think will work that has the freezer on the bottom like I want, and it's currently on sale. So we were looking at that, but then he's also trying to talk me into he found a chair that he wants, a recliner that he wants, which is not electric. So I'm leaning towards we're probably going to go ahead and get it, but just an expense we weren't planning on at the moment, which is fine. It's not a big deal, but anyway. Okay, what else? Oh, I had my first haircut in Canada. I told my husband it's always interesting to see how things are different and what things are the same. So different, I'm just a very anxious person. It took a lot out of me. I had my eyebrows waxed, which when I did that in the States, the lady that cut my hair also did my eyebrows. So having to go to a separate area of the store to have that done was very nice, very zen, very relaxing. Loved it. Will absolutely be back for it, but it was weird. I shouldn't say it was weird. It was unusual for me, and that gives me anxiety. So then I had to go to a different place for somebody else to do my hair, and I wasn't sure what to expect. Kind of told her what I wanted. I keep my hair kind of blonde because I have a lot of gray hair because I'm old. And I have that lovely gray hair that doesn't want to do anything except stick straight up off my head. So if I get it colored, it will behave. So I'm explaining to her, and she's like, okay, well, then she wanders off. See, the lady that I used to go to had her own like little, she was in a salon, but each place there was like a hallway and everybody had doors. It's like patio doors, so you could see through them through the glass, but you could close the doors so that you could be kind of private in that little area. And this was just a big open salon. No big deal. Been to one of those before as well. But she left to go to another room because apparently, I don't know if the salon pays for some of the equipment or what, but the lady next to me was getting her hair colored as well. And they both stylists went to a back room to measure out and mix up all the color. I don't know, is that a Canadian thing that you have to leave and go do it in a different place? If it's because they're using supplies provided by the salon, I don't know. I should have asked. I didn't. It was a bit weird. The lady that was cutting my hair, doing my hair, was a French speaker, and so was the other two, the other stylist and the lady who was getting their haircut. So they spent most of the time that I was there conversing in French. So I caught some words here and there. I knew they were talking about going on vacation because magically Disney Kingdom sounds exactly the same in French and English. So the other lady getting her hair done is apparently taking a trip to Disney, and they were talking about the lady cutting my hair had just gotten back from Cuba. So she was talking about her beach trip to Cuba, and I'm sitting there going, how do all these people have all this time and money to take all these vacations? Like, I've been to Disney World, no, because that's in Florida. I've been to Disneyland once as an adult. I'm trying to think, did I go back for a second time? I might have been there twice, but I might be confusing that. And that's it. I didn't have money or time when I was raising my two kids to go on a vacation. I mean, even during the summer when I wasn't teaching and ostensibly we had time off, we didn't. We had bills to pay. So I'm constantly amazed at all these people who are, oh yeah, we're going on a cruise. My husband ran into someone he used to work with when he lived here before. She's now retired. They're going on some kind of overseas cruise. Wait, was it overseas? Maybe it's a Caribbean cruise. I don't know. Anyway, things work differently here. What was the point of all this? Oh yeah, my haircut. So it's not like the really blonde that I was used to with my old stylist. It's more like a strawberry blonde. My husband loves it, so I'm happy. I like it. So I got my hair cut. What else? Oh, you guys, these are just random things. And again, I apologize. So my husband and I watch a lot of British television because he watches Formula One and it's really only on the British TV station and whatever. So I was watching this ad. There are so many ads everywhere recently for ways to borrow money. Oh, borrow between $500 and $1,500 quickly here. Apply on this app. We'll send you the money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm watching this ad and it's like, oh, here's your interest rate. You can get between $500 and $1,500 to repay at 1,271%. And I was like, okay, whoa, wait a minute. And maybe this has changed, but at least at some point, the US had rules about like there were maximum interest rates that you could charge because they're just predatory. 1,000% just blew my mind. And I was like, wait, let me do some quick math. So if you borrow the minimum, which is $500 at 1271%, you immediately then owe them $6,300 for the loan, and you only get 6 months to repay it, which means you're so desperate for money, and this is what I mean by predatory. People so desperate for money, they need a $500 loan to get through the week. Maybe it's an emergency bill or something, but whatever. They need $500 to get through the month. But now you need to make a monthly payment of over $1,000 in order to pay the loan back on time. And you know, as soon as you don't pay, they slam your credit, you get sent to collections, and it's just, how does anyone ever get out of some of these holes? I don't understand. And of course, the people that they're lending the money to may not understand what they're getting themselves into, which is crazy. And these businesses, like, why does it need to be 1,000%? You could charge 50% and still be making money without sending people bankrupt. Just crazy. Also, I think I mentioned this yesterday. If you didn't see yesterday's video, go check it out. I was kidding up my snowman. Also, a lot of you watching this video are not subscribed, so if you want to hit that subscribe button, that would help me out a lot. Anyway, yesterday's video I mentioned, well, when I was getting my haircut, they keep telling me spring is coming, spring is coming. I'm like, you guys keep saying that, but we're under a winter storm watch because we were supposed to get like another 8 inches of snow, which we did. And everyone's like, well, it's third winter. So you have regular winter and then second winter, and now this is third winter, and now it should be done. At the end of April, spring should finally be here. And I'm like, I'm not believing it until all the snow is gone. I would like to plant a small food garden. I want to get like a raised bed planter, maybe a couple. We actually drove by somebody who's selling some, so hubby's going to stop and see how much he wants for them. I assume he's selling them. He had a bunch of them out in his front yard, so I'm assuming they're for sale. Anyway, I want to plant some food so we can grow some of our own fruits and vegetables, and then mostly vegetables. Fruits are a little harder. I also want to get one of those. Have you guys seen? I can't remember what they're called. I got to look it up. They're like big white stands with little holes in them. They look very futuristic, like almost 60s mod looking. But you plant like lettuce and cabbage and stuff like that, romaine in it, and you can grow it inside your house. You can always have like fresh lettuce. Would absolutely love that because I end up throwing away so much lettuce because it goes bad before I can eat it all. So I would like to get one of those, and I would like to have some couple of raised beds for some food growing. So I'm assuming by the end of April, that'll be the last of the frost warnings and whatnot, so I can go ahead and plant some things. But we're so much further north than where I'm used to being, because I was talking to my oldest. They were out of school for Good Friday, and they're going to be off on Monday as well for a long weekend. So the school had like an outside field day on Thursday, which was fine, except it was supposed to be like 90 degrees. And she was like, "Oh, I'm going to die. It's so hot." And meanwhile, I'm sitting here going, "We just got 8 inches of snow," which she's like, "Yep, would absolutely rather have 90 degrees than 8 inches of snow." So I was a tiny bit jealous that it was that warm there. Just a tiny bit. Because if it's already 90 degrees in April, it's going to be so hot this summer. Not fun. We also got our next hydro bill, which was about the same amount as it was last month for only half the month. So we're feeling pretty good that that's going to be basically our bill going forward. And we were comfortable. We didn't turn anything way down or not keep ourselves warm or anything like that. But it'll be interesting to see when the youngest moves out of the rental and moves in here, because when we have the fire going, it's too hot. It's too hot. I'm like, I'm not going to live in a 60-degree house just because you're too hot. Take off your sweatshirt. But we shouldn't be running the fireplace anymore. And my husband is still not used to me sometimes being hotter than he is. The other night he was building a fire and it got so hot, I'm literally sweating. I went and changed into my PJs, shorts and a t-shirt, because it was so hot in the house. And he's like, "How are you hot?" I'm like, "It's 9 billion degrees in here. How are you not hot?" He's wearing a long sleeve shirt and pants. I'm like, something has changed. Now, instead of you always being hot, me always being cold, I'm hot some of the time and you're seemingly cold some of the time. So I need to go downstairs and look and see how much of our cord of wood we've gone through, because he's already talking about buying another one. I'm like, do we need to buy it right now? Of course, for as much wood as he's been burning, we could have used over half of it by now. I don't know. I don't go down there because he does it. So I haven't been down in the basement since we put the cord of wood in there and stacked it up. All right. Oh, nope, I missed one. I thought that was all the G's, but I missed one. I'm excited with how fast this one is going, even if I've not been working on it as much as I want to. Mostly because it's my upstairs kit and I've been working on the downstairs one. I just spend more time downstairs, so I naturally spend more time working on that kit. Although I did move it to the dining room table. My little desk down there just isn't big enough for that one. The downstairs kit is my Midnight Warrior one of my craftablies, and it's like 60 by 70 or something. And I could roll it up, but I don't like doing that. Just not the way. I'd rather have it laid out flat. And I didn't want to lay it over the edge of the desk because I didn't want to make a crease in it. So yeah, she got moved to the dining room table. So hopefully I can finish her in this next week. I've got to get busy. I have nothing completed so far this month, which is nuts. It's almost the 20th of the month, so over half the month gone, and I don't have anything completed yet. So I need to just spend some time, put my headphones on, put some podcasts on, and just spend some time diamond painting. I think my problem is I want to spend time with hubby, and he is generally downstairs on watching the TV from the couch. So I'm downstairs working on that kit, but just haven't been putting in the time that I need to. All right, how long have I been blathering about that stuff? Okay, I think that's all I wanted to tell you guys about my diamond painting life. Or I mean my regular life, because now I'm going to talk about my diamond painting life. See, my brain today is just all over the place. Okay, what's going on in my diamond painting life? Well, truth be told, like I was just saying, not a whole lot. I'm working on this kit. I'm working on the Midnight Warrior. Hopefully one or both of these will get finished before the end of the month. And then I will start on my snowman one, and I need to also kit up and start on my Spangler for this quarter, which I'm not too concerned about yet. I have a quarter to do it, so I have 3 months to do that one. If I don't get that one started in April, it's not the end of the world, but I would like to get a couple of things finished just so I can say I finished a couple of things. I may have to readjust that goal after I evaluate how I've been doing this year when I get to my diamond painting goals update, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I mean, I'm frustrated with myself because I'm behind, but I'm enjoying the diamond painting, so it's all good. It'll all get done eventually. Will it all get done in April? No. Will I get everything I want to done in April? I don't know. I hope so. So anyway, you guys, I just feel like there's been so many things closing, or maybe I'm just out of the loop and I'm just now hearing about it. So someone mentioned in a comment that Crafties was closing. And I've done several kits by Crafties. My Kaori, the one that I substituted all the gold for, if I can find a picture, I'll throw it up there. And a couple of other kits I've done from Crafties, and I enjoyed their kits. They were licensed, but they're closed as of April 15th. I got an email, weirdly, the day after I got the comment saying they were closed, I got an email saying they were closed. And then a couple of days later, somebody told me Treasure Studios Art, somebody that was watching some of my older videos, told me Treasure Studios Art was closed. And I was like, really? So Craftably is closed, Treasure Studio Arts is closed, Crafties is now closed. Like, did I miss anybody else closing? Oh, the Mermaid's Closet closed because I think theirs had more to do with family life. I don't know why Crafties closed. The email didn't say, just that they would be closing. So found it interesting. But I also came across somebody who was talking about a new diamond painting company who I don't remember the name of it at all. And it may not be new, it may just be new to me. I can't remember if they said it was a new to them or just a new. See, you guys, this is why I need to make notes, because then I say things like this just rambling out of my brain, and you guys are like, wait, what? There's a new one? And I'm like, yeah, not a clue what the name is, don't know where to tell you to go, but yeah. Because if somebody did that to me, I'd be like, oh, geez. So sorry, yes, today is Rambly Day, and I didn't look any of that up. Anyway, I also opened my art dot and cat eared trays that I ordered. Lots of great feedback from a lot of you about things that you liked and disliked about them, some of you that use them, and those of you who abandoned them. All great information. So thank you to everyone who shared your thoughts. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I really want to, well, I initially wanted to kit up into them, but that was when I thought the art dot ones had lids. Now that I know that they don't, I don't know if I want to do that because I don't have small children. I don't have pets. I don't have a cat that's going to come along and knock anything onto the floor. But I am super clumsy and I spill way too many things for me to put 50 different colors or 30 different colors, however many art dot trays I have, out into trays with no lids and then expect that I'm not going to dump them and commingle them all somehow, because it'll happen. So I have the 10 tray bricks that I could use because those have lids. I have, I want to say 20 of my cat-proof trays with lids, and then I have a few, maybe 4 or 5 Bella Art trays that have lids. So that would be what, 35-ish, but I don't think I have any kits that have that few colors of drills. And as many of you pointed out, like in the tray bricks, you can't put a ton of drills in there, or you can't pick the drills out of it unless you're going to single place everything, which I am not. So if I want to multi-place, then I have to kit up overages into my Elizabeth Wards. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to be kitting up into Elizabeth Wards anyway, why not just do what I've been doing? So I'm undecided. I need to use them a little bit and see how I like the tray bricks. I think the lids I'm going to find annoying, even though I want the lids because I don't want drills spilling everywhere. But like, even though I like the cat-eared trays, the lids, because they're kind of like snap over lids, which is nice. They're kind of more labor intensive to take the lids on and off. I could get like a storage thing, like somebody recommended in the comments and said they have like it's like just a plastic or styrofoam cardboard put together kind of tray tower. It's made for like ink stamps, but it works good for the diamond painting trays, depending on the size and all of that. But I knew exactly what they were talking about, and I had one once upon a time, something I got rid of because I didn't feel like hauling it all the way up here. And I figured it was easy enough to replace. I can just order another one off of Amazon. So I don't know if I want to do that and just leave the lids off of the cat-proof trays and put them in like that tray tower and try it that way. I don't know. Also, many of you pointed out that I can stack the art dot trays, so even though they don't have a lid to pour drills, you can stack an empty one on top of the one with the drills so the drills don't spill everywhere, which I knew and just neglected to do in the video. I don't know, it's one of those things where I kind of wish I'd read the fine print because the art dot trays are left-hand pour. But I think it's just random whether you get left or right, because there were some people who said they had a different color, that it was a different, like they had right-hand pour. But then there was somebody who said they had the same color as me, but it was right hand also. So I think it's just luck of the draw on whether you get right or left hand with the art dot. And I think it's great that they offer both, but I wish they would let you pick. I am still waiting on the vacuum pen. It has not shown up yet. I don't know what is taking so long. Everything else that we ordered in that same batch of items has already arrived, so I'm not quite sure what's taking so long with this particular item. I'm starting to wonder if it's been lost in transit and I'm not going to get it. Doesn't say that yet, but we'll see. So once again, once I actually receive it, I will do some testing with it. Somebody did also share with me that the vacuum pen that comes with the hose, because I was saying I didn't like having to use the pink pen. There are some people apparently on Etsy and some other places who are making like resin pens that are hollow so that you can use it with the little vacuum hose system if that's the one that you get. I bought the one that doesn't have a hose. So we'll see how good the suction is. I mean, the original invention was intended to make it easier to pick up ABs without leaving residue or the AB drills getting stuck to the pen, whatever. But then it's one of those things where everyone's like, oh, this is a good idea, but then everybody else wants to make improvements on it. Well, I like this, but I don't like that. That's why there's a million different trays out there, because we all work differently. Just like people telling me, oh, you could use a left-hand pour. Yeah, I could. I have, but I prefer the right-hand ones. It's just easier for my brain. Just like I'm sure eventually I could figure out how to knit, but after 10 plus years of giving it a decent go with people trying to explain to me how to do it, it does not compute in my brain. I can crochet just fine. Knitting just gives me a headache. All right, done with that section. Woo! Maybe I should spend some more time up here working on this one, because this one seems to go so much faster than the other one, because I'm currently in a kind of confetti heavy section on the other one. I'm sure once I get up into her hair on this one, because her hair is very rainbow and everything, that's probably going to be lots of confetti. But for now, the bottom part and her shirt and everything, hopefully, will be fairly simple. Okay, guys, a short whip and chat from me today, but like I said, not a whole lot going on in my diamond painting life. I think I rambled more about my regular life than anything else. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.